All right, guys, so let's talk about products to avoid and restricted and gated categories. Okay, so before we actually start looking into finding products, this is a little bit of like a guideline that I want you guys to follow, and I'm going to be telling you guys why we want to follow it. Okay, so these are general product types that we want to avoid. I'm not saying that you can't be successful with these products, but if it's our first product, I would highly suggest that we avoid them. I'm going to explain why. Okay, so the first thing is it's easily breakable. Okay, the reason why we want to avoid products that are easily breakable, like glass, is because there is a high chance of the glass or the products breaking during the shipment process. Okay, so the worst thing that can happen is you ship over 500 products of like a glass product or a product that's made out of glass, and then 200 of them are like cracked. But the worst thing is that it gets to a customer and then it's cracked. It's cracked. So the only way to really remedy this situation is if you ensure that you know the packaging of the units are absolutely superb and exceptional, so you don't have to worry about any cracking and any of those things like that. But like I said, for our first product, let's go ahead and avoid anything that's easily breakable like glass. All right, so the second thing is if a product that plugs into an electrical supply or if it's an electronic. Okay, so the reason why we want to avoid an electronic is because the rate the amount of returns that you're going to get because of electronics is high, and the reason why is because a lot of times electronics have a lot of problems. Okay, so let's say you sample an electronic. I know someone who got into an electronic product, and it was, he got a sample and it was all good, but then after like 2, 3, 4 weeks, I think it was about 30 days or so, he actually found out that that people were starting to return it, and then he realized that it was defective after like a certain duration of time. So we don't want to have to deal with that. Trust me, it's such a headache to have to go through that. So let's just try to avoid electronics as a whole. All right, so the third one is anything that contains lithium batteries, and the reason why we want to avoid anything that contains lithium batteries is because of the strict guidelines that we have to go through in order to ship these products that have lithium batteries in it. Like, the regulations are very strict, and we going through all of that headache, trust me, it takes a long time, and we don't want to have to go through all those those restrictions and those things that we don't want to deal with. All right, so fourth thing is, I got this is pretty obvious, but if it's patented, we want to avoid it. Okay, I told you guys in the last video, or the last video, I think, or the 2 videos ago, that if the product is patented, there's a chance that we are going to get our well, not a chance, like we are going to, our product listing is going to get removed, number one, and there's a chance that we're going to get sued, and we don't want that. So let's avoid having products that are patented. I'm going to show you guys how to check for patents in a later video as well. Okay. The fifth one is lots of variations. Okay, so a product that has like 3, 4, 5, or maybe even 10 variations is something that we don't want to get into. So for example, if the product is like, you know, you know, you know, 8 ounce, 12 ounce, and then 16 ounce, or short, medium size, and tall. The reason why we want to avoid those type of products is because there is always a particular variation that is most often bought, and you don't want to get stuck with units that are variations that are that aren't being purchased because they're not popular, or they're not like the market doesn't want those as much, and you're going to be stuck with products that people don't want to buy. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that when we purchase a product, maybe 2 variations is good, no variations is better. So especially for our first product, we want to avoid those. Okay, so the fifth one is textiles and clothing. Okay, the reason why I want to avoid textiles and clothing is because it's hard to differentiate with clothing. It's hard to differentiate with textiles. Okay, it's because when you're dealing with a cotton T-shirt, or you're dealing with like a cotton whatever it is, the only thing that really changes is the design. So we can't really differentiate, and if the design is the only way we can differentiate, it's not enough for us to make it viable, and it becomes a headache from there when we can't make sales. Okay, so that's that. Easily breakable, or glass, as also known as glass. Electronics contains lithium batteries. The fourth one is if it's patented. Number 5 is if it has lots of variations, and number 6 is textiles and clothing. Let's go ahead and avoid these general product types when we're trying to find our product. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of headache. And if we find a product that that doesn't match any of these criteria, trust me, you'll be better off moving forward. Okay, so let's talk about gated categories. So gated categories on Amazon are basically categories that require approval in order for you to sell on. Okay, so it's not impossible to sell in certain categories, but there are categories that I know a lot of people want to sell in, but they can't because it requires permission. I'm going to be showing you guys in the bonus module how you guys could actually get ungated in those categories. But if you guys want, go on this link right here, and it's going to show you all of the categories that require approval and that require, permission, paperwork, and things like that here. So you guys could check that out. But other than that, let's go back to the PDF real quick. Just remember that try to avoid these products as much as possible. That's the most important part of this video that I want to get across to you guys. Don't worry about gated categories. We can go ahead and just stick with the categories that are ungated right now because we can find our products there anyway. I found all my products in ungated categories, so don't worry about that too much. If you do choose that you want to get into a gated category, we can go ahead and look at that in the bonus module where I show you how you can get ungated. All right, so let's move on to the next video.